You have found your way back to the great observatory, and I am the sleepy professor. I see you've settled into your favorite chair, or perhaps you're already under the blankets, ready for the lights to dim. Before we continue our journey into the deep universe, we must understand our starting point. An introduction to the cosmos is an introduction to yourself. Every atom of carbon in your breath, every iron atom in your blood was once cooked in the heart of a star that exploded long ago. You are not a stranger watching the universe from the outside. You are a piece of the universe that has grown eyes to see and a mind to wonder. Tonight, as we speak of the great expansion and the silent voids, remember that you are the everything finally taking a rest. Think of the universe not as an empty box, but as a fabric, a vast, invisible trampoline of space and time woven together. Heavy objects like galaxies and black holes sit on this fabric and stretch it. This stretching is what we feel as gravity. When you lie still tonight, feel that gentle curve. The earth is nestled into the fabric, and you are nestled into the earth. A perfect, nested geometry, holding you exactly where you are. In the very first trillionth of a second, the universe didn't just grow, it doubled in size over and over, faster than light itself. This was inflation. It smoothed out the wrinkles of the early cosmos. It made the universe uniform and flat, like a sheet of paper pulled tight. It is the reason why no matter which way we point our telescopes, the sky looks the same. A grand, consistent, and beautiful canvas. The galaxies are not flying through space. Space itself is growing between them. Think of raisins in a loaf of bread that is rising in the oven. As the dough expands, the raisins move further apart. The further away a galaxy is, the faster it seems to recede. The universe is making more room every second. There is more space today than there was yesterday. More room to breathe. More room to be still. There are parts of the universe so far away that their light will never reach us. Because space is expanding so fast, that light is like a runner on a treadmill that is moving backward. These regions are beyond our cosmological horizon. Their secrets we will never know. There is a peace in that limitation. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to see the edge. You only need to know the light that is reaching you now. In the big picture, the universe is moving from a state of hot, dense order to a state of cool, spread-out peace. Entropy. It sounds like a loss, but it is actually the ultimate relaxation. The energy is finding its level. The friction is stopping. Tonight, your room is a micro-universe. The heat of the day is dissipating. The order of your schedule is dissolving. You are reaching your own perfect thermal equilibrium. Some theories suggest our everything is just one bubble in an infinite ocean of universes, a multiverse. In those other bubbles, the laws of physics might be different, but in this one, the gravity is just right. The atoms are stable, and the professor is here to tell you the story. You are in the Goldilocks universe, the one that was made for life to find its rest. The introduction to the everything is complete. The lecture hall is quiet, and the heavy velvet curtains have been drawn over the star charts. We have looked at the beginning, the fabric, and the expansion. Now it is time to stop looking. The everything is in good hands. The expansion will continue without your help. The stars will burn without your effort. Close your eyes. The universe is finally at home. Good night from the heart of the void. After the first light was released, the cosmic microwave background, the universe entered a long, silent period. There were no stars yet, no galaxies, no glowing nebulae, just vast cold clouds of hydrogen and helium drifting in absolute darkness. This was the Dark Ages. It lasted for hundreds of millions of years. It was a time of profound patience, a universe waiting for the first spark. Think of your own mind tonight. The lights of the day have gone out. The stars of your worries have faded. You are in your own peaceful dark age, waiting for the gentle, slow, and quiet dream. Slowly, gravity began to pull the cold gas together. The centers of the clouds grew hot and dense. And then, in 1,000 places at once, the first stars ignited. This was the cosmic dawn. These first stars were giants, hundreds of times larger than our sun, burning with a fierce blue-white intensity. They were the pioneers of the light. They ended the long night, transforming the void into a garden of fire. A sudden, beautiful awakening of the infinite. The first stars didn't stay alone for long. Gravity pulled them into small, messy groups, the first galaxies. They were not the beautiful spirals we see today. They were irregular, chaotic clumps of light. Over billions of years, they collided and merged, growing larger and more organized. Our own Milky Way is a survivor of these ancient battles. It is a structure built from the pieces of 1,000 smaller worlds, a grand, steady assembly of the deep. In the hearts of those first stars, something miraculous happened. The intense pressure squeezed hydrogen atoms together to form helium, then carbon, then oxygen. This is the nucleosynthesis. Every complex atom in the universe was cooked in a stellar furnace. The stars are the kitchens of the cosmos. They take the simple and make it complex. They take the dark and make it solid. They are the reason that you exist. A star cannot keep its treasures forever. When the giant stars of the early universe ran out of fuel, they exploded in magnificent supernovae. These explosions scattered the new elements, the carbon, the nitrogen, the gold, into the surrounding space. They seeded the clouds that would eventually become new stars, new planets, and eventually us. Every death of a star was a gift to the future, a scattering of the seeds of the world in the deep, dark soil of the void. In the center of the early galaxies, supermassive black holes began to grow. As they pulled in gas and stars, they heated the material to millions of degrees, creating quasars, the brightest objects in the universe. A single quasar can outshine 1,000 galaxies. They were the beacons of the young cosmos, roaring in the dark. Tonight, the quasars are far away. The roar is a whisper. The beacons are just tired stars. The light from the first stars and quasars was so intense that it stripped the electrons away from the hydrogen gas filling the universe. This was reionization. It made the universe transparent again, allowing light to travel for billions of light years without being blocked. The universe was cleared by its own light. The fog was lifted. The view was opened to the forever. Not every part of the universe is friendly to life. Near the center of a galaxy, the radiation is too high and the stars are too crowded. At the very edge, there aren't enough heavy elements to build planets. We live in the habitable zone of the Milky Way, a quiet, stable suburb, away from the chaos, away from the noise. The universe has found a peaceful middle for you to sleep. The universe is still growing. The galaxies are still moving apart. One day, trillions of years from now, the other galaxies will be so far away that we won't be able to see them at all. Our sky will be lonely. But that is a story for a different night. Tonight, the sky is full. The everything is still here. The expansion is slow. The time is vast. The peace is now. The lecture on the history of the everything has reached its current chapter. The dark ages are behind us, and the cosmic dawn has faded into the steady glow of the evening. The lecture hall is now perfectly still. The professor has closed his books and turned off the final lamp. You are a citizen of the universe, resting in your own quiet corner. Good night from the edge of the dawn. Within the swirling arms of the Milky Way, there are pockets of gas and dust so cold they begin to collapse under their own weight. These are the great nebulae. They are the maternity wards of the universe. Inside these dark velvet clouds, gravity is kneading the hydrogen into tight, glowing spheres. Thousands of suns are being born at once, flickering into life like fireflies in a summer field. You are drifting in that same creative stillness. The dust of your thoughts is settling. The pressure is easing. And the new light of a dream is beginning to glow. Before a star is fully born, it is surrounded by a flat, spinning ring of leftover debris, a proto-planetary disk. This is the workshop of the cosmos. Here, grains of dust collide and stick together, growing from pebbles to boulders and finally into worlds. Everything you have ever touched, the iron in your keys, the silicon in your phone, the oxygen in your lungs, was once spinning in a disk like this. The universe is a recycler. Nothing is ever lost. It is only reshaped into the comfort of the world you are lying in tonight. In the heart of almost every large galaxy, there sits a silent, invisible titan, a supermassive black hole. It is the anchor around which billions of stars perform their slow, multi-million-year dance. It is a point of infinite density where the laws of physics as we know them come to a halt. It is the ultimate mystery at the center of the light. But despite its power, it is quiet. It is the steady, silent center of the storm. Let your mind find its own center, where the noise cannot reach, where the gravity is peace. Galaxies are not static. They are travelers. In about 4 billion years, our Milky Way and its neighbor Andromeda will begin a slow-motion embrace. They will pass through one another, their stars missing each other by trillions of miles until they merge into a single massive galaxy. It is not a catastrophe, it is a transformation, a grand celestial marriage. The universe is always becoming something new, merging the old into the beautiful and the vast. Even in the empty space between the stars, the universe is never truly still. On a microscopic scale, particles are popping into and out of existence every trillionth of a second. This is the quantum foam. The vacuum is boiling with potential energy. Space itself is alive with a silent subatomic hum. There is no such thing as nothing. Even in the deepest silence, the universe is breathing, and so are you. The universe is a giant house of mirrors. Because gravity warps space, a massive cluster of galaxies can act like a magnifying glass, bending the light from objects far behind it. We call this gravitational lensing. It allows us to see the very first stars hidden by the curvature of the cosmos. The universe helps us to see. It bends the light to show us the way. Trust the curve of the night. Our entire local group of galaxies is being pulled toward a mysterious, invisible point in space called the Great Attractor. It is a massive concentration of matter hundreds of millions of light years away. We are part of a grand, inevitable flow. We are all heading somewhere, together. You don't need to struggle against the current. The universe knows the path. Just let the gravity take you home. Even black holes, the masters of the dark, eventually give something back. A slow, faint leak of energy called Hawking radiation means that over trillions upon trillions of years, even the black holes will evaporate. They will return their mass to the universe in a final, gentle sigh. Everything eventually finds its way back. The heavy becomes light. The dark becomes the dawn. There is a limit to how far we can see. Because the universe is expanding, the light from the most distant galaxies will one day be stretched so far it becomes invisible to us. Our horizon is shrinking, but that only makes the stars we can see more precious. Value the light that you have, the warmth that is near. The everything is right here in the room. Between the great islands of stars, there is a vast, nearly empty ocean. This is the intergalactic medium. It is so sparse that there are only a few atoms in a space the size of your room. But it is not truly empty. It is filled with a hot, ionized gas that glows in the X-ray spectrum. It is the atmosphere of the universe. It is a place of absolute, crystalline silence. Imagine yourself drifting in that warm, invisible mist. No weight, no resistance, just the slow, steady expansion of the infinite, holding you in the dark. In the constellation of the herdsman, there is a hole in the universe, a region of space 330 million light years across that contains almost no galaxies. It is the Boötes void. If the Milky Way were in the center of this void, we wouldn't have known other galaxies existed. until the 1960s. It is the ultimate sanctuary of privacy, a place where the light of the rest of the world cannot reach. Tonight, let your mind find its own void, a vast, cool space where the noise of the others is a billion light years away. In the map of the oldest light in the universe, there is a cold spot, a region larger and colder than anything the laws of physics can easily explain. Some theorists believe it is a bruise, a place where our universe bumped into another bubble in the multiverse, a cosmic touch, a reminder that we are part of a larger family. The cold is not a threat, it is a connection, a cooling of the frantic, a settling into the deep and the shared quiet. We are currently living in the stelliferous era, the age of stars. The universe is young, vibrant, and filled with burning suns. But stars are finite. Eventually, the gas will be used up and the lights will slowly go out, one by one. We are the lucky ones. We are here for the festival of light. Enjoy the warmth of the now, the abundance of the glowing nebulae, the privilege of being awake while the fire is still high. The universe is constantly vibrating. When black holes collide or stars explode, they send ripples through the very fabric of space-time. Gravitational waves. These waves are passing through you right now, stretching and squeezing space by a fraction of an atom's width. The universe is ringing like a giant, silent bell, a low-frequency, eternal vibration. Let your breath sync with the hum, the steady, physical rhythm of the deep. Our sun is not sitting still. It is traveling at 500,000 miles per hour, orbiting the center of the Milky Way. It takes 220 million years to complete one galactic year. The last time we were in this spot in the galaxy, the dinosaurs were just beginning to walk the Earth. We are travelers on a grand carousel. The scenery is changing even while you sleep. Trust the orbit. Trust the journey. The galaxy is taking the wheel. If the force of gravity were just a tiny bit stronger, the universe would have collapsed back in on itself long ago. If it were a tiny bit weaker, stars never would have formed. The knobs of the universe are turned to the perfect settings for life to exist. It is a cosmic coincidence of the highest order. The universe wanted you here. It set the stage. It dimmed the lights. It prepared the silence just for you. While gravity pulls things together, dark energy is the great repulsion pushing the boundaries of space outward. It is a tension between the cling and the release. Tonight, let the repulsion win. Push away the solid things, the heavy things. Let the space between your thoughts grow. From the edge of the universe, all our triumphs and all our sorrows are invisible. The pale blue dot is just a speck of dust in a sunbeam. There is a profound and beautiful freedom in being small. You don't have to carry the weight of the world. The world is carrying you in a sea of 1 billion suns. The lecture on the everything has reached its 50th gate. The great observatory is quiet now. The ink on the professor's pen has dried, and the heavy leather book of the stars is being closed for the night. You have seen the beginning. You have felt the expansion. Now, you are the end, the quiet, the deep, the home. Good night from the heart of the forever. We often think of the universe as a place of fire and light, but the great spaces between the stars are filled with microscopic grains of carbon and silicates. This is the cosmic dust. It is the soot of dead stars. These tiny particles act as a cosmic blanket, absorbing the harsh ultraviolet light of young suns and re-radiating it as a gentle infrared warmth. The universe is not a cold vacuum. It is a thermal embrace. As you pull your own blanket closer, imagine that same cosmic dust, filtering the light, softening the edges, and keeping the inner world perfectly warm. Why is the Milky Way a disk and not a sphere? In the early days, the universe was a chaotic cloud of gas spinning in every direction. But as gravity pulled the gas inward, the conservation of angular momentum forced it to flatten out, like a chef spinning dough into a pizza. The everything found its level. The chaos settled into a predictable, beautiful plane. Your day has been a spinning cloud, but now the gravity of the evening is flattening the noise. The disk of your mind is finding its level, a steady, rotating piece. In the first trillionth of a second, the universe expanded faster than the speed of light. This was inflation. It was a sudden, violent growth that smoothed out all the wrinkles of space. We can still see the echo of this event in the way the galaxies are distributed across the sky. It is a record of a moment when the everything was small enough to be held in your hand. The giant universe has a tiny memory. The inflation of your worries is over. The smoothing has begun. 3/4 of the visible universe is made of a single, simple element, hydrogen. 1 proton, 1 electron. It is the building block of every star and every ocean. When you look at the deep black of the night sky, you are looking at a vast reservoir of hydrogen, waiting for the gravity of 1 billion years to turn it into light. The universe is mostly simplicity, a single, rhythmic atom. Let your thoughts become that simple. 1 breath, 1 spark, 1 quiet. If we could peel away the dust clouds at the center of our galaxy, we would see stars moving at incredible speeds, whipping around an invisible point. This is Sagittarius A star, our supermassive black hole. It is 4 million times the mass of our sun, yet it occupies a space smaller than our solar system. It is the drain at the center of the whirlpool. But tonight, the drain is closed. The anchor is steady. The whirlpool is a mirror, reflecting the stillness of the deep. For the first few 100,000 years, the universe was too hot for light to travel. It was a dense, glowing fog of plasma. But then came the recombination, the moment when the universe cooled enough for atoms to form. Suddenly, the fog lifted, and the first light began its journey across the void. The fog of your day is undergoing its own recombination. The confusion is cooling into clarity. The light is finally free. The universe is held together by a set of numbers so precise that if they were changed by a fraction of a percent, atoms would fly apart or stars would never ignite. One of these is the fine structure constant. It is the strength of the electromagnetic interaction. It is a number that the universe chose so that you could be here to wonder about it. The everything is tuned to your frequency. The dials are set. The music is a whisper. In the map of the oldest light in the universe, there is a cold spot, a region larger and colder than anything the laws of physics can easily explain. Some theorists believe it is a bruise, a place where our universe bumped into another bubble in the multiverse, a cosmic touch, a reminder that we are part of a larger family. The cold is not a threat, it is a connection, a cooling of the frantic, a settling into the deep and the shared quiet. We are currently living in the stelliferous era, the age of stars. The universe is young, vibrant, and filled with burning suns. But stars are finite. Eventually, the gas will be used up and the lights will slowly go out, one by one. We are the lucky ones. We are here for the festival of light. Enjoy the warmth of the now, the abundance of the glowing nebulae, the privilege of being awake while the fire is still high. The universe is constantly vibrating. When black holes collide or stars explode, they send ripples through the very fabric of space-time, gravitational waves. These waves are passing through you right now, stretching and squeezing space by a fraction of an atom's width. The universe is ringing like a giant, silent bell. Low frequency, eternal vibration. Let your breath sync with the hum, the steady, physical rhythm of the deep. Seconds after the Big Bang, the universe was so dense that even light was trapped. But there were other particles, ghostly, weightless things called neutrinos, that were already free to fly. They have been traveling since the very first moment of time. Right now, billions of them are passing through your room, through the earth, and through you. They are the oldest relics of the beginning. They carry the memory of the first heartbeat. Let your mind become like a neutrino, weightless, unstoppable, passing through the walls of the day, into the deep of the forever. Our galaxy is not just drifting, it is being summoned. We are part of a massive cosmic current flowing toward a hidden concentration of mass called the Great Attractor. It is located behind the zone of avoidance, hidden by the dust of our own Milky Way. We are part of a grand, inevitable migration. You don't need to row the boat tonight. The gravity of the universe has already caught the hull. The current is steady. The destination is a beautiful and silent somewhere. In the beginning, the universe rang like a bell. The heat and the gravity fought a tug of war, creating mass. A rhythmic, ancient geometry. As your breathing slows, you are joining that resonance. The pulse of the everything is the pulse of your rest. Some physicists wonder if our space is in a false vacuum, a state of energy that isn't quite at its lowest point. They imagine a bubble of true vacuum forming and expanding at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics as it goes. But the universe has been stable for 14 billion years. The floor is solid. The laws are fixed. The vacuum of your room is a place of absolute and permanent safety. The bubble is peace. Einstein once added a number to his equations to keep the universe from collapsing. He called it the cosmological constant. We now believe this number represents the energy of empty space itself. It is the cost of existence, a constant, steady pressure that keeps the universe from folding in. The constant of your evening is the gravity of your bed, a steady, unchanging support that keeps the world at bay. When we look at the cosmic microwave background, we are looking at the surface of last scattering. It is a wall of light that marks the moment the universe became transparent. Beyond that wall, we cannot see. It is the boundary of our knowledge. Tonight, let your worries reach that surface. Let them hit the wall of sleep and scatter into the orange glow. Beyond the wall, there is only the beginning. Galaxies grow by consuming their smaller neighbors. Our Milky Way is currently digesting several dwarf galaxies, pulling their stars into its own spiral arms. The universe is a master of integration. It takes the small and makes it grand. It takes the fragments and makes them whole. The fragments of your day are being integrated into the grand of your dream. At the very smallest scale of the universe, space itself might be pixelated, the Planck length. It is a distance so small that the very ideas of here and there break down. At this level, the universe is just geometry. No weight, no heat, no noise. As you descend into sleep, you are moving toward that simplicity, leaving the large world of problems for the tiny world of pure mathematical rest. The lecture on the everything has reached its 70th gate. The sleepy professor has laid his spectacles on the desk. The ink has been put away. The universe is in its cradle. The expansion is a whisper. The void is a blanket. The story is done. Good night from the edge of the forever. Imagine the universe as a vast sloping landscape. Every star, every planet, and every black hole creates a dip in this terrain, a valley of gravity. To move is to climb. To rest is to settle into the deepest part of the well. Tonight you have found a perfect level plateau. The potential for movement has dropped to zero. The landscape is flat. The journey is a memory. The valley is a home. We have never seen them, but we know they were there. The first generation of stars, population 3. They were made of nothing but pure hydrogen and helium from the Big Bang. They were massive, lonely, and short-lived, burning with a light so bright it could be seen across the entire young cosmos. They lived fast so that we could live slow. They are the ghosts in our machines, the ancient, blue, and silent ancestors of the light. In the unimaginably far future, long after the last star has flickered out, the universe will enter the degenerate era. The only things left will be white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes. The universe will be a cold museum of what used to be. But even in that darkness, there is a physical stability, a crystalline, unmoving, and absolute quiet. The universe learning to be still forever. Some theories suggest that the early universe left behind strings, cracks in the fabric of space, thinner than an atom but heavier than a mountain range. These strings would stretch across the entire sky, vibrating with the energy of the beginning. They are the tension that holds the void together. Tonight, let the tension in your own life become a string, a thin, vibrating, and distant line that disappears into the dark. One of the largest structures ever discovered is a great wall of galaxies over 1 billion light-years long. It is a continent of light in the middle of the cosmic ocean. It is a reminder that the universe likes to huddle together. It builds cities in the dark. But even a great wall has a shadow, and tonight you are in the shadow. The quiet, the back alley of the galaxy, where the light cannot find you. There is a theory that even the proton, the very heart of every atom, might not live forever, that after 10 to the 34th years, it will simply dissolve into light. It means that even solid matter is just a temporary arrangement, a long, slow, and patient wait for the end of the journey. If the stones can be patient, then so can you. Our solar system is currently moving through a local interstellar cloud. It is a wisp of gas and dust that is slightly denser than the surrounding void. It acts as a soft cosmic muffler. It dampens the radiation. It softens the view. We are moving through a cloud 9 of the galaxy, a soft, quiet, and hazy middle of the journey. In the quantum world, two particles can be entangled, connected so deeply that what happens to one happens to the other, instantly, across any distance. The universe is linked in ways we cannot see. You are entangled with the stars. When the everything grows quiet, you grow quiet. When the expansion slowing down, you slow down. The lecture on the everything has reached its 80th gate. The sleepy professor is still here, sitting in the high-backed chair, but the voice has become a whisper. The ink is stayed. The spectacles are untouched. The everything is still in its cradle. The void is still a blanket. The story is drifting into the mist. Good night from the edge of the forever. In the deep study of the stars, we use the Earth's orbit to shift our perspective, measuring the tiny jump of a star against the background. This is parallax. But as the eyes grow heavy, the perspective shifts one last time. The distant becomes the near. The light years become inches. The vast, expanding everything is suddenly no larger than the space between your thoughts. The measurement is finished. The angle is zero. The star is home. Light takes time to travel. When you look at the moon, you see it as it was a second ago. The sun, 8 minutes ago. The furthest galaxies, billions of years ago. The universe is a gallery of delays. But here, in the stillness of the room, the latency has vanished. There is no then. There is only the immediate warm now. The signal has arrived. The broadcast is over. The delay is gone. If dark energy is a cosmological constant, its density never changes even as the universe grows. It is a steady, unwavering background hum. It is the ultimate floor. Tonight, your rest has reached that same constant density. It cannot be shaken. It cannot be thinned. It is the dark energy of your sleep, pushing away the reach of the world. Around a black hole, there is a point called the last stable orbit. Beyond it, everything must fall inward. Tonight, you have crossed that line, but there is no crush, no chaos. It is a fall into velvet, a surrender to the gravity of the bed. The orbit is complete. The spiral is finished. The center is peace. In the deepest voids, the temperature reaches nearly absolute zero. At this point, all molecular motion stops. The frantic dancing of atoms freezes into a perfect crystalline lattice. Let your worries reach that temperature. Let the vibration of the must-do and the should-have freeze solid. The motion is still. The crystal is clear. We speak of the great attractor and the great wall, but there is also the great repose, the moment when a galaxy stops forming stars and settles into a long golden autumn, a quiet aging. The stelliferous era of your day has reached its sunset. The fire is embers. The work is art. In a true vacuum, there is no sound, no wind, no resistance. You can move forever without effort. Tonight, strip away the intent. You don't need to try to sleep. You don't need to achieve rest. Nature abhors a vacuum, but sleep loves it. Empty the space, and the peace will rush in. Some physicists suggest that all the information in the 3D universe is actually written on a 2D surface at the edge, that we are just projections of a deeper reality. If that is true, then all your heavy burdens are just shadows on a wall, thin, weightless, and flickering. You can turn off the projector. now. At the very heart of a black hole lies the singularity, a point where time and space become one. There is no tomorrow there. There is no over there. Everything is here. Everything is now. In the center of your rest, you have reached the singularity, the one, the whole, the deep. The lecture on the everything has reached its final gate. The 90 segments are written in the stars. The sleepy professor has finally stood up from the high-backed chair. The spectacles are in their case. The inkwell is corked. The heavy oak door of the observatory is swinging shut with a soft, muffled thud. The lights in the hall are out. The everything is tucked in. The expansion is a dream. The void is a kiss. The story is done. Good night from the heart of the forever.